Hi, I'm Rick Shostak.
And I'm Doreen, and we're Greg's parents.
All right, I'm going to ask you guys some questions about your son. How old was Greg when you first started seeing signs of autism?
I think if I recall, it was probably around 18 months or so, maybe a little later. And, we just kept thinking something was going on. He couldn't hear us. When I called his voice, he wouldn't look. He'd watch the same things over and over. He would line things up and stack things up, and trouble sleeping, very slow getting potty trained, didn't seem to get it.
Took us about a year then to get him diagnosed.
Right.
Because autism wasn't that common back then. About 1 in 1,000 was the incident rate back in 1988, 89 when
Yes.
we first saw this in Greg.
Okay. All right. If you guys had to make a educated guess, what would you say is the cause for autism? In your opinion, at least.
It's just a guess, and I'm no expert, but I would say it's genetics.
Okay.
And I know people talk about immunizations. I honestly don't think it's that. There could be some environmental factors. One example is my best friend when we grew up, when I was a kid, he now has a son with Asperger's. So we might say from that there's two kids that might be some environmental relationship.
Yeah.
But I think it's genetic. Don't you?
Well, just the fact that it's so predominant in boys, it's 4-to-1 more predominant in boys. To me, that's saying something about genetics. So that's our gut, but
Yeah.
who knows?
Let's see. What is your son up to these days? The one that just walked by and made an entrance in the background. What is he up to these days now that he's out of the school system since he's 23?
Yeah, he just recently successfully transitioned out of the school system, and our school system was great. The last 4 or 5 years, they really focused on vocational training for him and getting him ready for a job of some sort. And that's happened. He's working 3 days a week, doing an office kind of job, doing filing and a little bit of data entry.
Cool.
Minimum wage, about 15 hours a week, so that's nice. And then the other 2 days of the week, he goes to an adult day services program, which is like daycare for adults. And you've been saying there's a lot more of those available now.
Yeah, they've really sprouted up around different counties just because I think the need has increased as the kids are getting older.
And
they do-
autism is becoming more prevalent.
Yes, it is. And they do field trips, they do some vocational cooking and baking, and they sell their goods, and
Great.
yeah, they try to keep them busy.
Let's see. What is one thing that you would want people to know about autism?
Probably that they're also different. One mom might say they have an autistic child and they could be quite a handful, where one might be very independent. So it depends where they are on the scale. And also that autism can be quite challenging, especially in their younger days. There's quite lots of tantrums and lots of inappropriate behaviors, running away, and so public support is helpful.
Great. Let's see. What would you say to someone who kind of has the attitude, well, just I alone can't make an impact in one kid's life?
Well, we've seen hundreds of people who have had an impact in Greg's life, and especially college students, whether those were camp counselors at either summer camps or weekend camps that he's gone to, or whether they've been involved in caregiving, because oftentimes we've looked at colleges for our caregivers. And I think a club like this that can spread the word about autism and get to know about people with autism, and then come in direct contact with people with autism, it's going to make a huge difference. We've got some lifelong friends that were college students, 10 or 15 years ago. We still stay in touch with them. And believe me, they've done a lot of good for Greg.
Oh, great. All right. Tough question. If today you could cure Greg's autism, would you?
That is a tough one, especially tough and easy maybe at the same time to give an answer, because that's not an option at the moment.
True.
But as a mom, I'd love to see Greg be able to someday have a relationship with a person, to get married, have children, drive a car, do typical things. But at the same time, I can't imagine him any other way, so
Yep.
hard to say.
But you, Dad?
Yeah, about the same. I only know one Greg. He's the Greg I know. He's the Greg with autism. It's kind of hypothetical to think, could he be different, or would he be different? But then he wouldn't be Greg to me. So.
And you know what? Anne wouldn't be Anne, because she probably wouldn't have been in special ed.
That's true. Well, great. Thank you guys for the interview.
No problem.
Have a great day.
Good luck, guys.